A geopolitical shockwave just hit North America, and it's shaking the very foundations of US-Canada relations. In a stunning and bold move, Canada has effectively severed a key route to Alaska, leaving US President Donald Trump reportedly furious and scrambling for answers. The decision, which involves aggressive toll policies and new transportation restrictions, has disrupted the only major land connection to America's northernmost state. With Alaska's isolation now painfully exposed, the implications are not just regional, they're continental. How could one decision from Ottawa cut so deep into US logistics, diplomacy, and security? And what does it reveal about the fragile state of North American unity? Stick around as we break down this historic escalation. But first, make sure to like, subscribe to the African Web channel, and turn on notifications for more real-time updates and deep dives on global affairs. At the heart of the chaos lies the Alaska Highway, a vital corridor built during World War II and governed in part by a 1977 US-Canada treaty guaranteeing cooperative maintenance and free movement. But with Canada now enforcing new toll checkpoints and strict permit requirements, American travelers and transport companies are calling foul. Experts argue that these tolls may be in direct violation of the original agreement, sparking a legal and diplomatic firestorm. The tolls are not just symbolic, they are causing real, tangible damage. Everyday Alaskans, already living with high costs due to their remote location, are now facing surging prices on everything from groceries to fuel. The small towns that dot the highway, once reliant on cross-border movement for commerce, are seeing a steep decline in visitors. Trucking companies report delays, diversions, and a chilling effect on supply chains. For a state that relies on a single highway through Canada to connect to the rest of the US, this move could not have come at a worse time. But it's not just the highway under threat. Canada's shift in posture has exposed the alarming vulnerability of Alaska's broader transportation infrastructure. Maritime routes remain treacherous and costly, particularly during harsh winters. While air travel offers alternatives, it's insufficient for transporting bulk goods and relies heavily on stable fuel pricing and international overflight agreements, which now seem increasingly uncertain. Tourism, a vital sector for Alaskan towns during the warmer months, is also reeling. Tour buses, road trippers, and seasonal adventurers are finding it harder and more expensive to make the journey. Even medical shipments and essential equipment, often trucked in through British Columbia and the Yukon, face unnecessary bottlenecks. In effect, Alaska is becoming an island, with all the economic and logistical strains that come with such isolation. This rupture doesn't come out of nowhere. It's the latest chapter in an ongoing trade battle that started during Trump's earlier term and reignites during his current administration. Trump imposes aggressive tariffs on Canadian aluminum and steel, citing national security concerns, a move widely seen as a diplomatic slap in the face. Canada hits back, targeting key US exports and locking both countries into a tense standoff that continues to shape their economic relationship. Now, with Trump doubling down on his America First economic doctrine, Canada seems to be responding with increasing determination. While the US frames its tariffs as essential for protecting domestic industries and reducing foreign reliance, Canada views them as a deliberate economic provocation. These actions strain what was once considered one of the world's strongest bilateral trade relationships, turning cooperation into confrontation. The newly introduced tolls on the Alaska route mark a fresh escalation. Officially labeled as a transportation policy, these tolls are widely interpreted by analysts as a strategic countermeasure to the latest wave of US protectionism. They affect vital supply lines, complicating logistics, and adding financial pressure to American businesses that rely on this corridor for trade and transport. What's unfolding here is not just a policy disagreement. It's a deeper power struggle between two longtime allies, each maneuvering to defend its national interests in an increasingly competitive global economy. Canada, traditionally a predictable and conciliatory partner, now signals a shift in tone. By leveraging geography and infrastructure, it's making clear that it won't tolerate economic marginalization without consequence. This turn of events alarms international observers who have long seen US-Canada relations as a model of stability. With trade disputes spilling over into diplomatic and logistical domains, the broader implications extend beyond bilateral ties. The situation now poses a real test of how allies navigate economic nationalism. and whether long-standing partnerships can survive in an age defined by strategic retaliation and shifting alliances. Trump's economic playbook has always been high risk, high reward, but as the trade war with Canada intensifies, it's impossible to ignore the wider fallout from his global tariff crusades. His administration's ongoing disputes with the European Union and China has sent shockwaves through the global supply chain. American automakers, burdened by rising parts costs, are reporting historic layoffs and factory shutdowns. Meanwhile, inflation continues to erode consumer purchasing power, with goods from groceries to electronics spiking in price. The administration insists these measures are necessary to protect American industry. But critics argue that the results have been a mix of short-term political wins and long-term economic instability. Canada's retaliation, especially with something as geographically strategic as the Alaska Highway, may signal that patience with US protectionism is running out. The consequences of Trump's trade policies are rippling through the US economy. Farmers, especially those in the Midwest, have found themselves squeezed by both falling exports and rising input costs. Dairy, soybeans, and pork, all sectors previously thriving thanks to cross-border trade, are facing steep declines in revenue. Beyond agriculture, logistics companies are navigating a maze of tariffs, retaliatory fees, and political uncertainty that makes long-term planning nearly impossible. As the trade web unravels, it is ordinary Americans who are paying the price, whether through job losses, higher prices, or delayed shipments. Confidence in US trade leadership is dwindling on the world stage, and allies are increasingly seeking new partnerships to bypass American unpredictability. What's perhaps most damaging is the growing public distrust. Economic policies appear more reactive than strategic, more performative than practical. Canada's bold move may be the clearest signal, yet that even the friendliest neighbors are no longer willing to play along with policies they view as irrational and hostile. As tensions boil over and essential routes like the Alaska Highway become collateral damage, the consequences of trade mismanagement and political brinkmanship are becoming impossible to ignore. The US now faces not only a diplomatic crisis with its northern neighbor, but also a potential economic spiral that could affect millions of lives. Will cooler heads prevail, or are we witnessing the unraveling of one of the world's most important bilateral relationships? With Canada drawing a bold red line, the United States must decide whether to escalate or negotiate. One thing is clear: Alaska and the rest of the country cannot afford isolation in a globalized world. What do you think? Should President Trump reconsider his trade tactics, or is Canada overstepping its bounds? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to the African Web channel for more timely updates on politics, policy, and international affairs.